Today we got a tale of two Daytonas. Like, they both say Daytona aluminum, and one is more than twice the other. What's the difference? So let's have a quick look. Hi, and welcome back to the Messy Garage. I find myself in the weird position of having two 1.5-ton aluminum jacks from Harbor Freight, and I've had this one for a while. As you can really tell, it's been used a fair bit. I got it because that guy over there was a real pain in the butt, over 100 pounds, to get in my car and go do stuff in my mom's car, for example, or when I take trips. So I got this guy, and he's fine. He's pretty cool little lightweight aluminum jack, or thought he was aluminum, but he's also sort of high. Then we'll talk about all the specs here in just a sec. And what's funny is this guy is actually too tall to reach under my wife's not very high Mazda. So I went looking for solutions and got carried away one day and kind of had tucked it away and forgot about it, to be honest. I know that's weird. And got this Daytona, which is super low out here. And obviously a lot longer. Actually, I was really surprised how much longer it was than that one. So, real quick, they're both 1.5 ton. Now I'm going to suggest to you that this one has got more margin for error than that one. They both have dual parallel pistons. You can kind of see the smaller and sort of less protected pistons here. These have much beefier and capped over the springs. They both have the rapid pump, so as you go up, getting up to the work is really quick. 4 or so cranks of the handle to get to max height. They both have 2-piece handles with a foam bumper, and both pass the ASME PASE standards. So that's just sort of certified for certain, mechanic type situations and safety and things like that. They both have one little handle that can be mounted on either side, so you can swap it around. You can see the holes on these side of both of them. And neither are really designed to be serviceable. In other words, no Zerk fittings or anything like that. So this one is normally about $134, I want to say, at Harbor Freight. That's part number 58811. 58206. It originally came out more than this, but it's been $299 for a while. What's funny is this one's actually a little lighter, which is funny considering the construction we'll talk about in a second. This is 32.3 pounds and this is 36, which, given its mass, you would kind of wonder how this one is only that small amount of weight, relatively speaking, over that. Well, the answer is because this guy uses a lot more steel than steel. That's aluminum. The handle is steel. The body is aluminum. This wheel cover, I guess I'll call it, is aluminum. The little handle's aluminum. But there's a big slab of steel here. The arm down there is steel. Plate up here is steel. The wheels are steel, front and back. Get them here, on the other hand, you got very little steel. Now the bolts and stuff are steel, but it's all aluminum. Obviously the bolt's not aluminum, but the wheels are aluminum. The roller is aluminum. The handle, aluminum. Hey, stop it. So the difference is this is a massively aluminum, and this is really an aluminum and steel. So it's very compact, which costs it a little bit. The lift height here is 14.25 inches, so that's the pretty low end of a lot of the jack stands that I would be using with it, but works. But the 16 and an 1/8 inch of this, better. The minimum is 3.5 here, 2 3/8 here. So there's really big advantage in terms of being low. And if you're, this is really kind of designed as a race jack when you've got a really low car. you know, tight to the ground for better aerodynamics, you know, this is your guy. What's funny, also one thing, benefit of this guy's a really short handle. It was one of the first things I noticed when I put it up. It's like, oh, that's all. It's a little over 3 feet, 37.5 inches, where this guy is almost a foot longer. Actually, a little over a foot longer. It's 47 and 5/8 inches. And boy, can you tell. The Daytona does come with this rubber pad, as they all do. This one's actually glued in. The all aluminum Daytona does not come with anything. That's it. And this is even removable if you really need the maximum lowness, if you will. But it does actually take a puck perfectly, you know. And so around here, it's pretty good. And obviously the Daytona does it quite well as well. So puckable is what I'll call that. This is described as high strength billet aluminum, what of it there is. I'll talk about thickness here in just a second too. This is anodized aircraft aluminum. What you love is, like, this comes out on camera, but you can see the passes on the CNC to carve out Daytona out of the black-faced aluminum body here. And it's a nice thick body, man. The thickness here is 12 millimeters versus 6 3/4. So that's roughly a little less than a ½ inch here versus a little over a ¼ inch here. So a lot more beef here. And I got, these are both aluminum. All the rest of this is aluminum, where that's steel. So harder to compare. But on the arm, this is, a lot of aluminum, almost that same 12 millimeters here. So it's a lot of beef and a lot of footprint. This is wider and obviously longer than this guy. That gives you some stability as well. So it's really kind of a lot of differences going on here. Even the handles, it's funny, you look at how much bigger the pistons are and how much more beef is here. Even the handles are, 33 1/3 versus 36 millimeters. The knob in the back here is 18 versus 22. So, you really are getting, a lot more kind of beef, which is why it costs so much more. A lot more aluminum than it costs so much more. A lot lower profile, which is why it costs so much more. So I'm not really advocating for one over the other. If you want a light jack to throw into your trunk, for car shows, or just something easy to swing around the garage, as long as your jack stands can clear it, that guy's great. For lower cars, which apparently we sort of have, and something that's got a little bit more height and really still beefy while still being, substantially lighter than the big old steel guys. This is, again, 36 pounds. You pay for it. And that's kind of the delta between them. I think in terms of construction, I compared this in the store with the Pittsburgh aluminum jack, and this has got a lot going for it. It's less sloppy and just much more crisply built. But even as more crisply built as this, if you just kind of look at the pump assembly in there, look how much more. The fit and finish here is just insane. Even down to things like the handle. Like if you look inside the edge here, this is just kind of a flat piece of metal, where this actually has a chamfer to make that slide in, this part slide in a more guided way. There's just a lot of attention to detail here that makes me like it a lot. So I'm not actually sure what I'm going to do with that one. That would make 3 jacks for me. I'd considered leaving one over at my mom's house, so I don't have to take a jack when I go over there, but I don't know, because she lives 90 minutes away. But I'm super impressed with this one. I love, like, the holes for lightness. They designed for lightness. Not really speed holes so much as just lightness holes, but whatever. Sorry, Colin. So anyway, just a quick look if you're wondering, like, what's the difference between the Daytona jack and the other Daytona aluminum jack? I would say a little bit lighter, much more beefily constructed, much better executed, much less steel than the ostensibly both aluminum jacks, and just fit and finish that will impress you. I mean, it's so nicely done. Like, the handle kind of blew me away. Just it's a nice, thoughtful detail. And I felt it immediately. I was like, oh, wow, that went together nicely. So that's the quick look. It's not so quick. It is what it is. So anyway, thanks for watching, and stay messy.